Mate, can't start without ya. Well, we could start without him. What do you reckon? Welcome to the Stoked Bloke show, people. I'm Barton Lynch. I am the Stoked Bloke. We're coming to you from the Pipeline Studios, right here at the New Earth Project House at Pipeline. This is our Christmas edition. We've got the hats. Yeah, I've got a hat for you, mate.
What? Come on.
Just quickly, come on. Give it to the people.
I've spent enough money being Santa. I deserve one of these.
There you go. It doesn't really fit your head. Do you want to try this one?
No, this is good.
You like
fit
the
my
ears?
head.
You look like.
What do you mean?
You look like Gilligan or something. Your ears
And
all
you're
bent
the,
over and stuff. Look, we're just doing that to send you all a very Merry Christmas. Hope you had a great day with family and friends, and we celebrated in a good way, environmentally conscious way, perhaps.
How much did you spend, Santa?
I didn't spend much at all, mate. I am a Grinch.
Frugal Santa.
I'm not really, I celebrate every day. I don't need occasions. I don't like occasions. They actually get under my skin because I just want to get back to normal everyday living because it's so good.
You got it good.
Life is good, mate. My hip ain't good. I'm in a bad way, PK. I've got an appointment for the 3rd of January to go to the orthopaedic surgeon and have an x-ray done and have a look at my hip. I had my left one replaced 10 years ago, and it's been fan-bloody-tastic in that time.
So is the same person going to do it?
No, this one was done in Australia back then. This one's going to be done here in Honolulu.
So you have to pay for this one?
Well, that's one of the issues as an uninsured person. We got some problems on the old budget front. We continually have them as life just keeps slapping me down one injury at a time.
Well, you should have given yourself the new hip award in the BL Blast-Off.
No, well, you know what I got for Christmas was an x-ray certificate from the family. I said, all I want's an x-ray. I just go figure this thing out. So, people, we hope you're in good shape. We are in incredible shape here on the North Shore of Oahu. We have had consistent waves. All right, hold on. That's enough of the Christmas. We're getting into the surfing.
You say we're in good shape, but not the yards.
Not the yards.
The oceanfront yards have been getting hammered, and last night's swell was bigger than the eddy swell in terms of washing down the streets and stuff.
That is an amazing point. This swell that we had 5 days of 15 to 30 foot surf.
Yeah.
Every day there would be days where it started out smaller, 15 in the morning. By the evening it was 20 again. It was non-stop, day in, day out waves. And then we got to see the first day of that swell actually was the Pipeline Masters. And we thought we'd throw a quick mention out to the winners there. It has been quite some time now. Nathan Florence. Amazing to see him win and follow on in his brother's footsteps. You could easily be John Florence's brother and go, I don't surf. You know what I mean? Just step away from having to confront that type of a challenge.
Get lost in that shadow, but then again, Nathan kind of stepped up and has helped the brand. He's that good, that important.
He's almost more important. And in terms of the slab tour, the waves he's been riding, the surfing he's been doing, the content he has been producing, he is a piece of gold. His wife is a piece of gold. Together they just a plutonium.
They're a juggernaut.
Wow, mate, they are, and they are doing incredible work for each other, for themselves, for their lives, for their families.
And for surfing. We love it.
And for surfing, mate. Nathan, we really feel good about that win. Good on you, mate. And then our good mate, your good mate, my good mate, Aaron Brooks.
Yes, little Aaron Brooks wins the Pipe Masters.
Youngest Pipe Master ever. Pulled into a couple of real waves on that final day. It was very big, 12 to 15.
You never get a day at Pipeline, even in competition, very rarely where it's good all day, right?
No. Did that happen a couple of days, yesterday or the day before? Was it absolutely pumping here at Pipeline a couple of days ago?
Yesterday morning was pumping, and then it got too big. So there was 4 hours, and the usual suspects were all dominating. Barron, little Tosh Tudor over from California, little Tudor's son. He's just real clean at picking off those waves under priority, kind of, because he's not, the boy out there. Eli Olson was out, all the Florence bros, and Jamie, and a lot of good waves ridden yesterday morning. It
has been on the cook, peoples. It's been absolutely pumping at a size that it doesn't often go for that long. And then
just
at
real
the
quick
Pipeline.
About that Pipe Masters.
Yes, mate.
It's not really a Pipe Masters, but it's still a cool event.
Yeah, it's a great event if you get waves, because any event's a good event at Pipeline, and they got saved on the final day. It had been pretty much rubbish to that point, and it was copping a lot of flack, and there were things people didn't like and thought were kind of cheap. The bag of cash thing was a weird concept. You don't need a bag of cash at Pipeline, mate. You're getting barreled at Pipeline. People do that for nothing. You're not going to value add by giving them a brown paper bag with some cash in it.
Do you think Koa Smith's wave was worth a bag of cash, or was it more valuable for what it was to him?
Well, to him it was a lifetime of work and effort. It was recovery from a brain injury. It was getting yourself back through deep faith and conviction to a place that was your highlight moment perhaps in your career to date. And he got a 10-point ride, an absolute smoker, a 30 in that event. Because 310s, and it was well worth it, and it was great. He was hanging here with us, so he always hangs here with us at the house and during the events and on any given day, and so we were all felt like family getting a 10, didn't it? And then Erin's the same, felt like family when she won as well. So very powerful event in the end, because Mother Nature saved and brought them waves that disguised all the other stuff that felt a little cheap.
Waves do cover a multitude of sins, huh?
They sure do, mate. You forget everything. You forget your work, you forget your obligations, responsibilities, and it's been like that the last period of time. Living here is an extremely stressful situation.
Why is that?
Because you are constantly challenged by the ocean. Every day you could have your ass handed to you, and you could be going to Kahuku or Wahiwa or somewhere to get stitched up or helped, and over an injury, everybody's struggling about now. We've had so much surf that the amount of people that I know who are injured is ridiculous.
And it doesn't matter who you are at any level you can get. No one's going to beat the ocean.
Speaking of such, that's the perfect segue into the Eddie Aikau Big Wave Invitational presented by Rip Curl, and what was one of those highlight events that I will remember for my whole life. I got to do beach commentary. This little Aussie was invited by the Aikau family to go there and sit on that microphone and talk story to the audience and share their day of days, their family's day of days with the public. I was so touched. And I had Uncle Clyde sitting right there most of the day, listening to every word I'd say.
Wow.
And it was how easy could you just be an idiot and say the wrong thing or do something wrong? And it has
a historical importance.
It's so important.
Has a weight to it.
Yeah, responsibility. Yeah. Like judging the Backdoor Shootout.
Right.
It's the same kind of responsibility when you're not from here and people from here come to you and go, hey, would you do this for us? You feel welcomed, you feel like valued, they recognise the value in what you bring, and that's a really, really lovely thing. So for me to be a part of that, Eddie, was one of the highlights of my commentary career, 100%, maybe the highlight.
You've competed at Waimea, lest we forget, because I forget all the time as you're sitting here, I caddied for you for a 10% fee during the Billabong Pro, which was a movable event back then.
Yeah.
And Bob Hurley looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, I'm caddying for Barton. I'm going to sit in the channel with the board." And he goes, "You realize there wasn't 16 wave runners in the water back there." He goes, "You realize if he breaks his board, you have to give him his board and paddle in on the broken board." And I was like, "Uh-oh. Hope he doesn't break his board."
I wasn't catching anything anyway.
You cut something, and you won $400, and I got $40.
Is that right?
Yeah, 10%.
Yes, man.
If you would have won the event, I think it only would have been like 10
You would have got 200 or
Not
something.
much.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been much, but
that day was a scary day.
Out there, Richie Schmidt was in your heat.
Richard Schmidt, was Shane Horan in that heat too, or was that another event?
I don't think so.
So we surfed that Waimea event. I've surfed there a couple of times. I actually surfed the Eddie in 1990. I had a great relationship.
So you know what it's like to be in that heat and have the responsibility paddling out.
It's terrifying, and there is a very, very serious bunch of people in that event, mate. That ain't just a walk in the park like Love, Peace, Unicorn Fest, right? That event is the people that want it go to the inside and just go with a focus and a determination. And back in 1990, Ken Bradshaw, Mark Fu, there's a different generation to today, obviously. Uncle Clyde was, surfing, and it was intimidating. People were scary. the aggression, the power that they were putting into that moment, into that day. I'd won the world title. I was, pretty satisfied within myself with one, and
didn't need to go left at Waimea on a set.
No, and exactly. And I just kind of sat back and went, wow. And I was intimidated by the desire, the determination, because that was the day of days for people, and it still is that. It's become more important since 1990 was only the second one. So it wasn't really understood the legacy and what it would evolve into today as the greatest gladiatorial sporting event that surfing has.
And there was some gladiator moments.
Bravo. Big round of applause, mate, for every single one of them.
What are the waves you can remember?
Well, from there, through the binoculars, trying to tell the colours in the haze and all of that distance, it was
beach
very
angle's
difficult.
tough to see everything.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
I was up on the cliff looking down at a good angle, thanks to you.
You had an A-grade spot.
Thanks to Bia and Ryan.
Ryan and the family. Thanks for looking after PK, and what a great spot they get to watch it from. It was the waves that I remember my mate Ross Clark-Jones.
Oh, my gosh.
And I remember watching him.
Jump off the diving board.
So you're meant to wear flotation. That's a mandatory situation.
I think him and Ben were the only guys that didn't.
He don't want to wear flotation.
Can he not afford it, or does he have it built in?
He just doesn't need it in his mind. He don't want it.
Right.
He'd rather go without it, and that's just the way he is. And while he's getting smoked, you see him come up the beach, all his fingers, that one that you're talking about where he jumps out of the top, the board breaks, cuts his fingers, all of them, and he's standing there on the beach looking out at me in the tower, up at me in the tower going, like that with all his blood.
Natural born maniac.
He's an absolute natural born maniac. So that was great for me. My other good mate, Jamie Mitchell, surfed the event with a fractured toe, a fractured foot, and a rib thing. He's got a 6-week rib thing in front of him, and he tried to surf the event like that. Those waves that day, so important that he tried to go.
Those guys are not pulling back.
Those guys, and then we had an injury list on that day. Mark Healy, busted eardrum.
Oh, that was from that free fall.
Yeah, and he's floundering around in the water, and because you lose your equilibrium, you don't know up from down. One of the most terrifying wipeouts that there is for any surfer, and they struggled to get him up and in, and so we hope Heels is recovering well. Then there was Laura Enova. She got to the beach. She did amazing. And then she got to the beach after it, and the whitewater washed the board up and speared her in the leg, sort of unbeknownst, in the euphoric moment of actually getting back to the beach.
No.
Thinking it's over. One of them weird things where you switch off and boom, all of a sudden you're on your way to surgery, still recovering in hospital. Big injury. Ross, we said, with all the fingers cut. Greg Long injured his knee and had to withdraw after round one. There were a lot of people putting their life on their line, and in the end Luke Shepherdson, the defending champion, got a monster in the morning, an absolute cracking 25-footer, and it was the holy grail for goofy footers. The only thing that we haven't won to date was the Eddie Aikau. And I'd put it out there over the microphone in the morning that would today be the day when a goofy footer finally wins the Eddie Aikau. I feel like I manifested that by putting a storyline into the ether.
Nice.
And in the end, Landon surfed so incredibly well that one that he had 3. It's on your best 3 rides.
Right.
You can ride 8 for a heat, so you're only allowed 4 each heat. Once you've had your 4, you've got to go in. So that puts an element of pressure, and you've got to be selective. 5 heats of 9.
Okay, 5 heats of 9. 45 people in the event.
Yeah, and then 2 rounds, 4 waves of heat. Best 3 overall was what determined Landen McNamara as our champion. First time ever for a goofy.
How come a goofy never won that event? Did they not put him in?
No, I think Tommy Carroll had a go over the years. I remember Aaron Napoleon and myself surfing in that early one in 1990. It's just one of those things that's extremely difficult to do.
Are there less goofies than regular foots?
No, we reckon it's about 50-50, don't
we,
these days? Back in the day, it was obviously a little imbalanced. There was some reason why humans would stand with the left foot forward. It just feels so unnatural. But it would make sense that you step forward with your right foot, especially if you're right-handed, I suppose. But then the yoga's goofy, so it doesn't make sense. Congratulations to Landon McNamara. You are on fire, mate, and you did it for the Goofies. You set history. You did it for your family. When you look at that family legacy now, you know, Garrett, obviously, 100-foot wave, winning Emmys, riding some of the biggest waves ever before his run of injuries that slowed him down a little bit. How was that one at Mavericks he took off on when his shoulders got torn out? That thing was a giant wave.
He's injured everything.
Yeah, he was... Garrett had a few screws.
And he's one of the founders of Nazare, for sure.
Yeah, he's the mayor. Yeah. In Portugal, he's put surfing on the map for them. So he's a iconic individual over there in Portugal and here in Hawaii and around the surfing world. Then you've got Liam, who was the contest director at the event, helped pull that whole thing together and did an amazing job. And it was a very, very well-produced event by all standards. Incredible.
Yeah, and his pipeline legacy is amazing.
Yeah, that's right. Amazing things over the years. So the family are continuing the traditions. Mackay McNamara, the little brother, is a great kid and absolutely rips as well. We'll be seeing him in the Backdoor Shootout, and we've got that coming up next. So it's like this crazy Pipe Masters into Eddie Aikau and now into the Backdoor Shootout. And
we've got a team for you.
We've got a team. The New Earth Project, which is an initiative of Atlantic Packaging, for those that don't know, and Atlantic Packaging, the owner, Wes Carter, he realised at a point in time that he was the problem. He was creating the packaging, and as the owner of a packaging company, he may be able to indeed reverse that and create good, and went on a mission to reinvent the supply chain, reinvent packaging in a sustainable way. And that's the premise of a New Earth Project, is to rid the oceans, lakes and rivers of plastic. And that's something that, well, we're so passionate about it. And you've got the team of teams. Who we got?
Yeah, we do. We got Kelly Slater, of course, who's surfed Pipeline a couple times.
Yeah, it's just a couple.
It's going to be exciting to watch what he can do out here. And he really helps the team too.
Yeah.
Bethany Hamilton, superhero.
Yes, superhero.
And she's going to charge. She wants to pack one.
She's the best.
No big deal. 1 arm, 4 children. You know, your typical pipeline surfer.
She's incredible.
Incredible.
And might we say, through the pandemic, she knew what she believed. She had her own principles.
Yep. And
through that period, she stayed true to herself and her values and morals, and was very powerful as an individual outside of surfing, outside of the shark, outside of everything, just for how she was through that period of time and the stands that she has taken.
She has taken some stands, huh?
She really has, mate. And it's we need people like her. Yeah. Our sport the world needs people like Bethany Hamilton. Your team is going to benefit from it.
Our sport's lucky to have her. I mean, she's taken the correct stance on so many issues.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait to see her goofy foot stance pulling the barrel.
Yeah.
Hoping for some good ones. Then, of course, Koa Smith, who's just coming off the best wave of his life, the most impactful wave out here. Kai Lenny. Yep. Yeah. He's going to surf switch.
Yeah, he can. He could.
He's going to. It's a done deal. He's going to surf switch when he goes left. So, Kylan, it's going to be exciting. And then we've got Kaulana Apo, local boy. And then we've got some alternates. Luke Tima, who's one of the higher-ranked junior surfers here, is going to be the alternate for Bethany if she has any reason to not want to go out, if it's all little, like, rights or something that she's not into.
Yep.
And then Shaden Picaro. So, Shado P is also an alternate, and they're all going to get some barrel time. So it's going to be exciting. We love this event. What Eddie Rothman has put together along with the Hui, their group, it's the most roots, legit contest at the best spot. It's not easy to put on. It's not easy to pull off, and they've been doing it for, 25, 30 years.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a cultural icon of an event. It's not just a surfing event. That's a very small part of the whole process. Like with the Eddie, these are the events that mean something to the community, mean something to the people who live here, mean something to the culture and their heritage and history. So, to go from the Pipe Masters, which we all know, it's a lot of talk about how that felt and settled, and into the Eddie. And then into the Backdoor Shootout.
Yeah, here it comes.
Exciting time of year.
And how nice is the opening ceremony?
Yeah, it's powerful,
for the Backdoor
mate.
Shootout.
It's one of the most powerful opening ceremonies you will be a part of. They bring out the traditional, real deal heritage. And it's something that's, you're so proud to be a part of. I know the team's proud to be a part of it. We're proud to be able to put the team in there. I'm proud of being in that position where Uncle Eddie trusts me to cast the decisions, because what we have to do in that event over 4 rounds of potentially 4 days or more.
So you're a judge.
Yeah.
You, Dingo, Flynn.
Me, Love Hodel, and
Hodel.
Flynn. Dingo has helped us in the past, but I don't think
He's here.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, we'll get him in then. But Love Hodel.
I mean, you need a
and Flynn
bathroom break at some point. You got to have 4 judges.
That's right. Run down, run up. We sit in that tower all day, and then for 4 days, all the rides that you judge have to make sense in relation to every other wave. So it's this radical jigsaw puzzle that is something that takes a lot of focus and a lot of concentration, and we keep our notes. And it's going to be an incredible event. You're going to love it, people. That's going to be a beauty.
So that's from January 4th to the 16th is the waiting period. Yeah. And I think they get 3 or 4 days of competition in that.
Yeah, exactly. And then they've got the longboards as well, maybe the SUPs, and that kind of helps and gives them more time to cherry pick.
Yeah.
But ordinarily, it is the best time of year, that January period.
It's such a good window, huh?
It's such a good window, except that it's been so good for so long, it almost feels like it's got to turn off at some point. And it likes to have a rest. After the previous eddy, it went, for a month it stopped. But this one, as you said, the surge on the eddy swell was not as dramatic as what I was imagining, and as the size of the swell indicated, it should have been way more surge on that swell, I would think.
Could have been the direction. Last night we got hammered.
Last night's was the biggest surge of any swell. It got 20 feet easy, closeout sets up my way all evening, so it's giant. It just keeps coming. So the shootout they'll always score. They'll always get stuff. Maybe it mightn't be as giant as it's been, but that's good because we're at Pipeline. We don't need it giant. We don't. We need it in that Hawaiian 10 to 15 range, right?
What's the dream swell for Pipeline?
Well, I like it when it's pretty straight. Northwest. It's got that north in it. To west, you might be running along sideways. The back, you don't get a lot of backdoor, and so I like it when it's kind of mixed bag and there's lots of waves. The thing about the shootout is that people are surfing with their teammates. They're not competing or surfing in their session or heat against competitors. And it's not fighting for waves.
So people are splitting the peak,
sitting there with their mates, going, "I've had 3. You go. You get this one." And so Team Japan, Team Peru, a lot of these teams who are ordinarily in a position the surfers are when it's absolutely pumping to kind of get the scraps because it's such a big pecking order. When they go out in their heat in the backdoor shootout, they're able to get the best ones without any impediment whatsoever. And so you see these incredible standards of surfing because of that format. May the swell bender continue. May we send our thanks to everyone at a New Earth Project. Thank you to you, PK. Thank you to everyone who was involved in the Pipeline Masters, the Eddie Aikau, and the upcoming Backdoor Shootout. What a contest season it has been. Thank you to you watching, and we look forward to talking to you more.